Alfonso Cuadra, we are live. How you doing, buddy?
I'm so good. I'm so good. We spent the weekend together in Edmonton, and we just had a blast. We know each other for a while now, but it's always nice to spend those 3 days intensive together, along with over 100+ other attendees that were there. What an amazing time!
It was a great weekend. We were in Edmonton, like you say, over 100 people were there learning about real estate. We talked about multifamily. We talked about land development, touched on what's going on in the U.S. And I did an economic update of what's happening. We were pretty specific about Alberta, but I did an overview that landed really well. I mean, certainly there's lots to be optimistic about in Alberta overall. Edmonton is one of those cities in Alberta that's going to do, I think, very, very well based on the data. It's going to do very well in the coming years.
And you know what? This is the time to pay attention to this data.
Yeah.
There's some times where, we're just kind of coasting. There's no time to coast. There's no time to wait. We have a little window of opportunity and you got to take action. And so those economic updates, they're bang on, and I know people love them. And this is the time to pay attention.
100%. And of course, we're talking about, about this. We're having this conversation at a time when there was been a U.S. election, lots of politics being about, so many distractions.
Yeah.
There's a fundamental message that I think that anybody who's sitting on the sidelines right now, like the real estate investors who are in the trenches, they're finding great deals. They're taking action. They're doing work. If you're sitting on the sidelines, I could approach it this way, Alfonso. We're heading into a recession. The sky is falling. The world is coming to an end.
And I would say good.
Good. If that was in fact the total case, which there's some version of that is certainly true. Ultimately, this is the time when real estate investors need to get in the game, take advantage of it, and take advantage of the uncertainty that people are feeling and the challenges that others are facing. Learn how to solve other people's problems in the world of real estate. Grow your portfolio. And I like to say this always is that whether you want to sit on the sidelines or not, if you want to sit on the sidelines, fine, but get the education, because at some point you're going to want to get off the headlines or off the sidelines. Quit avoiding or quit buying into the headlines and then start taking action. But you need to be prepared and you need to put a plan together. And the intensive is a perfect weekend to start doing that at bare minimum.
Yes. And we got a weekend coming up. We got a weekend coming up where we're going to teach all the top strategies, the strategies that are most relevant now, the things that you got to do in order to get prepared for this upcoming opportunity zone that we're entering. And that's Langley, November 15th, November 15th, we're going to be hanging out in Langley. You're going to bring the economic update, how to treat your real estate like a business, mindset matters. And we're going to deliver one hell of an event. Everyone in Edmonton was coming out of that event on fire with a clear vision on what they're supposed to do next.
That's the biggest thing, is that, as much as, we cover it all, right from the how to get in the trenches, get your hands dirty, to what mentally you need to prepare yourself for and how to get through all of those things. We both believe strongly in that side of it. So we'll teach you how, but then you've got to get out of your own way and start to take action. There is no question that surrounding yourself with like-minded people, putting yourself into that community of like-minded individuals who are taking action. I mean, let's face it, that in its own is inspirational. I like to use the phrase that confidence is rarely owned. It's most often borrowed. Well, borrow it from other action takers who are literally doing some amazing things in that multifamily and land development space, the U.S. side of the equation. I mean, there's so much ground to cover, so much to learn that, I mean, if this doesn't inspire you to get off the sideline, even in these economic times, I don't know what will. But at the end of the day, Alfonso, this is a really great time to start looking at deals.
The key to success, Patrick, and we've talked about it all weekend, is positioning yourself in front of a wave.
Mhm.
A lot of people have been on the sidelines, and that interest rate cut was a sign of things to come. Right? There's going to be even more cuts, but by
Yeah.
the time that happens, you already missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
The other thing is the elections. Now, whatever side you're on, it's really irrelevant. I think you can agree that we're all happy that it's over, and we can now move on with our lives.
Mhm.
And that took a lot of energy from a lot of people in conversations and arguments and
Yeah.
this and that the
Yeah.
other. To me, it's irrelevant what side you're on.
Yeah.
The opportunities that are going to come next, because it's over, which means that people can get back to investing, they can get back to their lives, they can get back to looking forward, and that's all of that momentum is the wave that we all need. But you need to be equipped with the right strategies, the right mindset. And so the things that we're coming to teach in Langley, these are the top strategies that are most relevant right now. Number one, multifamily. Right now, this is the time to get into multifamily. Not only that, there's incentives, there's the MLI Select program, all of the things that we're going to talk about. Not only why multifamily is the best asset class to get into, but how to buy it and how to buy it using other people's money. Number two, land development. We're in a housing crisis. There's a housing shortage. Between 2021 and 2024, Canada has increased the population by 3 million people. 3 million people. That is crazy. Even though they've put a pause on it for now, these 3 million people, even if we tripled our production of housing, we wouldn't even be able to keep up. And so that's the opportunity, right? There's a lot of incentives coming
Yeah.
down the pipeline, and you got to be ready. You got to have the right education, because the only way out of the housing crisis is through land development. We'll talk about that on November 15th.
Mhm.
Next, U.S. investing. Well, isn't it timely, right?
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, the person in charge is a real estate person. And so there's a lot of, there's going to be a lot of opportunity in terms of investing in the U.S. And we'll talk about that. We'll unpack it on November 15th. And then lastly, what people always ask us, where are we going to find the money? Well, we talked
Mm.
about OPM, but we're not going to use it as a gimmick, Patrick. We're going to actually show people how to do it the right way so they don't get in trouble. And as far as I'm concerned, you know what? OPM is good as long as you know what you're doing, so you don't end up with LOPM, losing other people's money. And so
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about raising capital the right way, corporate structures, GPLPs, all the things that people are gonna need in order to get everything started right away.
You made so many great points. And certainly, when we talk about raising capital, we're talking about raising capital, not chasing capital. How do you
Yes,
attract capital? That's one
yes,
example of what we're doing. So many things that we have to cover over the course of that weekend. And I think you make some really good points. Number one, you don't want to chase the wave. You want to get in front of the wave. I mean, those are all metaphors and analogies, if you will, for what and how we have to see the market. But I think that politics aside, whatever your politics are, whatever you see happening in the world, whoever that might be, Canadian politics, US politics, in spite of all of that, it is up to us to take responsibility for our financial futures. Nobody's going to save
100%.
you. Nobody's going to save you. We have to get a handle on how do we create a financial future, build wealth. Real estate is one of those things that everybody needs to have, as far as I'm concerned, in their portfolio. And whatever your politics are, whatever you see is happening in the world, our job is to create a thesis, put a plan together. I always like to use the term plan, prepare, prosper. And whatever order you want to put that in, but ultimately we come together, we put a plan together, we then execute on that plan in order for us to prosper into the future. Real estate is a way to do that. collectively, Alfonso, you know, the thing about Real Estate Investment Network, Wealth Genius coming together, I mean, we bring a lot of depth, and the collective intelligence, the collective experience, the collective content that we are going to be providing over the course of the weekend will blow investors' doors off. We've got it covered. We go deep, we go broad, but we get you looked after in terms of putting a plan together that's going to support you. And by the way, having said all of that, we've put an amazing deal together for you. I don't remember what ticket prices are, but they're freaking dirt cheap.
Well,
and you can bring a
friend.
friend.
Up here. You can look up here, or you can look down there. Either up here or down there. You got to take action, right?
Yeah.
You have to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do today.
Yeah.
So you can live the life that other people wish they had tomorrow. And that means taking action. You got to, you know, it's uncomfortable. I know November 15th is getting close to Christmas. You know what? The best Christmas gift that you can give yourself is the gift of financial freedom, the gift of time freedom. Wow. That's the best gift
you give yourself and your family. Alfonso, thanks for taking the time to do this. Folks, if you're watching this, you see this, get registered. Join us in Langley in the beautiful Fraser Valley.
Let's do it.
We got you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks, Alfonso.